My girlfriend laughed at my love letters with her friends, completely disrespecting my feelings. I walked away, and now she's desperately begging me to come back. But I don't think I can forgive her. I, 25, male, moved in with my girlfriend, 24, female, of 4 years, 3 weeks ago. She chose the place, and although her name is on the lease, I paid half of the deposit and paid the first month of rent as she couldn't afford it. I also paid the first month of bills. She works part-time and has some savings. She used it to furnish the place according to her taste despite my objections. I felt she overspent, and the money could have been better spent on other things. She had a few friends over on Monday. When I came home, she had ordered food, and as I normally come home from work at 5 o'clock, she was surprised to see me there an hour earlier. They were a little drunk, and one of her friends made strange comments, which I thought nothing of due to the alcohol. As I went to the bathroom to shower, when I came out from the shower, her other friends and sister were quoting poetry I had written to my GF and were quite handsy. I found it odd and asked her where she had heard that. She goes, "We just read your love letters to her before watching a movie." My girlfriend was laughing with them. Her sister made a remark about how she wanted me to do her the way I do her sister because she had never felt that way. I was furious, but due to her drunkenness, I thought it impossible to talk to her. I left for my mother's house. On Tuesday, she called me 17 times, but I ignored it. She also sent many texts wanting to know why I wasn't home. On Wednesday, I told her in person how hurt I was for her sharing my intimate letters with her friends and for oversharing what we do in private. She said, "Relax, it was a joke, and nobody got hurt." She said the girls were impressed with me, and that is why they got a little handsy. She said once I gave her the letters, they were hers to share with whom she pleased. So I told her that I am my own person and can make the decision to not share more of myself with her. Today, she came to my mother's, apologizing. She wanted me to come back and talk it out with her. I told her no and that we were through. She wouldn't leave, so I drove to my father's place, where I am now. She kept texting me and telling me that I should be ashamed of myself for leaving her like that. She got her friends and sister to apologize to me, and they told me to quit playing games and go home now that they had apologized. I told them I was home and that, as my name was not on the lease and I wasn't respected as an equal in her home, I no longer wanted to be with her. Luckily for me, I hadn't moved most of my stuff there. She kept phoning and texting, and I blocked her. She then made a mutual male friend of ours contact me and tell me that I was being about it, so I blocked him too. Then his girlfriend texted me and told me not to take things out of proportion. I am almost certain I did the right thing, but maybe I should talk it out with her before cutting all contact. Relevant comments: nobody got hurt? Odd she said that after you explicitly said it hurt you. Also, don't love when people rope their friends into internal relationship disputes. Personally, I wouldn't want to sign up for a life of this, so not the idiot? No, she was just being honest. She just thinks OP is nobody to her. That she called him a while trying to win him back was the final nail in the coffin. Not the idiot? Can you imagine what this situation would be viewed as if this was a guy treating a girl this way? She comes home, him and his friends are drunk, they've gone through her intimate stuff that she's given him. He talks to them about their sex lives, and they all come up to her and start being handsy with her, telling her how great she is and to them, in the same way. Then later on, they call her, apologize to her, then tell her she's being too sensitive and for not coming back. Not the idiot. Writing a letter to someone is always addressed to the person who received it and not to her sister or friends. Sharing emotions, thoughts, and love is a thing between you two. She just played with these things around her friends and sister. These love letters became a toy for entertainment. You feel hurt and betrayed, and I would feel the same way. You did the right thing for you, and if you feel like breaking up with her, that's your right thing to do. Wishing you all the best, brother. Cheers. Not the idiot. She has shown her true self to you, so in a way, it is a good thing she revealed her ugly character now before your life got any more enmeshed with hers. It is unfortunate you paid the money for the place, and it is probably gone, but be thankful you learned who she really is before you waste another moment of your life or any more money. She clearly has zero respect for you, your feelings, or your relationship. If she cared, she would not share things with others that are hurtful to you. But she did, and then they laughed at you, not with you. More than likely, she wants you to come home because she can't afford to live there on her own. Good, let her and her laughing hyena friends live together and laugh it up. She disrespected you by sharing your most private and intimate thoughts with others. In addition to sharing your most intimate thoughts, she and her friends were laughing at you. She also shared intimate information about your lovemaking life. Her sister was getting handsy with you saying, all wants you to do her. So, her sister was sexually harassing you, and she was okay with that. Despite some commenters claiming all women talk about their sex lives with their friends, that is absolutely false. Maybe it is just the women who don't care about their partner's feelings who do this. Update. After reading a lot of the advice here and talking it out with my family and friends, it seems it's best to not continue my relationship. I haven't contacted her directly, but I went with my brother and my friend while she went to visit her parents for a book trip. I collected my things and gave my brother the key to give to her Friday evening. She wouldn't take it from him, as she wanted me to return it. My brother told her there was zero chance of that happening because of the TikTok post she had on her account, going into more details about what was in the letters from me, including her mentioning my sister by name and her miscarriages. This forced my sister to tell my mother about it, even though it brought up a lot of trauma for her. At the moment, my sister is not talking to me because she felt I shouldn't have shared that with anyone. I agree it was a violation on my part, even though I was looking for emotional support from my girlfriend. My ex took down the post in hopes of getting me to meet with her. When she realized it wouldn't happen, she put up another one telling her side of the story. There were several parts in it. She was looking for the letters to show her followers, but I knew where she kept them and took them while I went to collect my stuff. I burnt all of them. I won't be writing letters to any new romantic partners anytime soon. Her sister has been to my mother's a few times, trying to get me to help out with the rent. According to my ex's reasoning, if I hadn't agreed to pay for the rent, she wouldn't have overspent on setting up her home the way she wanted. Even if she sells the stuff, she won't get the original price for it, so she feels it's my fault for making her lose money. She did contact the landlord and film for her TikTok viewers while she was on the phone with him. He denied her breaking the lease without penalties. She has to pay the remainder of the months. I asked her for my deposit through my friend while he was on the loudspeaker to her so I could hear her side without having to speak. Knowing full well I wouldn't get my part, at least he tried. She called him a lot of names, then phoned him back and apologized because she wanted him to tell me to phone her so she could straighten out the misunderstanding and we could get back together. She has now taken down all the posts about me. I don't know if she will upload them again once it dawns on her that we are through. She phoned my brother again to make me speak to her so she could explain, and he met her a few hours ago. He finally gave her the key, as she was told either she could take it or we would return it to the landlord. He picked up a call from her an hour after he dropped off the keys. She wanted to talk to me and forgive her, as she had seen how she made a mistake and that it wouldn't happen again. She wanted me to return the love letters, but my brother told her they were burnt. She had a go at him, so my brother cut her off. She phoned back, more apologetic, and asked what she had to do to make me go back. He asked her if she would be okay with me sharing her bears and clips she had sent me with my male friends. He asked her this without okaying it with me first. She said she wouldn't be okay with it. I guess the double standard has completely turned me off, as she told my brother that if you receive something through a romantic relationship, then it should stay between four eyes. It's not that she doesn't understand that what she did is wrong. It's that she expects me to be okay with it, as in her mind her feelings matter more in the relationship. She also thinks that me being taller and bigger than her shouldn't have felt threatened by her friends or sisters, as I was not really in harm's way. He then blocked her, as she phoned him several times over and left him crying messages, followed by some angry messages to delete her bears. Her sister left an angry message with the friend that helped me with asking for the deposit, and she threatened him that if I ever leaked her bears, I wouldn't live to regret it. She told him to pass on the message to me that there is something she is very insecure about sharing about her body, and she doesn't want me to share that without her consent. I am getting a new number, as I can do so with my current payment plan. I am moving forward from this and hoping that I make better decisions in the future. Thank you to all who helped me with good advice. Relevant comments. A woman will do the same as your brother, but don't share her bears, please. I don't know where you are, but here in Mexico, sharing bears and lovemaking tapes is illegal. We have a law, the Ley Olimpia, Olympia's law. So, for your safety, don't do it. I won't do it, and I haven't even thought about it. My brother said it to her without asking me first. He suggested that I say it to her, but I didn't think he would actually do it himself. I'm sorry that happened to you. Please don't stop being the sweet, emotionally available man you are. Don't let a few bad people ruin it for the rest of the women out there. You are going to find someone who appreciates your effort and keeps your heart safe. Good luck, and for God's sake, tell your family to stop taking her calls. They have already blocked her, but she and her sister turned up at my mother's house. My mother won't open the door to them anymore, as she finds it quite harassing. The best advice I can give you is to tell your entire family to stop communicating with this woman, her friends, and her family immediately. Continuing to communicate just prolongs the drama, which, to be honest, it sounds like your family might even enjoy. Delete any bears, if you still have them. It was inappropriate of your brother to even suggest keeping them. If he has copies, he needs to delete them as well. Most importantly, you need to take some time and sincerely apologize to your sister. She was absolutely right, you should never have shared her personal medical information with anyone. Your excuse that you needed emotional support from your girlfriend is frankly not valid. You didn't go through the miscarriages, your sister did. Claiming you experienced emotional trauma over it is disingenuous. You need to do a lot better at keeping the confidences you are entrusted with if you want your family to trust you again. I wouldn't. Maybe someday your sister will forgive you, but she will never forget. Hopefully, you have learned a few good life lessons from this experience. Privacy and trust are good places to start. My family is ignoring her, they are not enjoying this. My brother and friends have blocked her on their phones. Her sister came to my mother's home, and so did she. Now my mother doesn't even open the door when she sees it's someone from their side, and she will continue to do so. I admit I made a mistake in revealing information about my sister, but I thought my now ex would keep it private and emotionally support me. It wasn't my direct trauma, but seeing my sister suffer, receiving her calls at all times of the day and night while she went through the miscarriages, was hard on my mental health. Story 2. This past weekend was my wedding, and it was technically my second proper wedding because my husband and I eloped and got married in Vegas. So, this was an event more for the family than for us. My sister was my maid of honor, and she showed a PowerPoint presentation pic montage during the reception. I thought it was going to be just cute pictures and videos of me and my husband. We've been friends since the first grade, so there's a lot of material. But instead, my sister was like, for all of you who don't know, this is my sister and my husband's name's second wedding. Let's see how the first one went. And here's the thing. We got married in Vegas, crap got a little weird, and we took a million pictures and videos, many of which looked super inappropriate out of context, and in context. Like, we had no bachelor or bachelorette party, so the night before the wedding, we went to a strip club with female strippers and to one with male strippers as a gag. So there was a pic of me glaring, fake angry at my husband looking at some big sass balloons, and one of my husband doing the same while I'm looking at a dude doing the helicopter with his joystick. There was a pic of us eating Domino's in a hotel room only in our underwear. There was a pic of us doing an impromptu sexy cowboy/cowgirl photo shoot near the Grand Canyon. It's an inside joke, too long to explain. There was a pic of me at a hotel pool wearing a seriously minuscule bikini that may as well be invisible, with virtually my whole sass hanging out, and my husband doing the Will Smith meme. There was a pic of my husband bare, playing the guitar with only the guitar covering his junk, and me fake singing next to him wearing only a long t-shirt. There was even a pic that had nothing to do with the wedding, of us in costume as Cyclops and Emma Frost for a Halloween party, so it obviously looks like I'm wearing lingerie, which I was. Half of my husband's package in the tight suit is super noticeable. The presentation finished with an admittedly very nice montage of pictures and videos of me and my husband in school, in high school, etc., juxtaposed with more recent and appropriate pics. It was genuinely very moving, and everyone loved that part. But I was seriously dying of embarrassment about the other pics. I mean, my grandma was there, and both of my husband's grandparents too, and a bunch of people who were technically, but not really, close friends. Some thought it was hilarious though. Am I overreacting for thinking my sister crossed the line by including those pictures, which I shared only with her in confidence? Relevant comments. Thank you, sis, for all your hard work in making the presentation. It only goes to prove what an utterly stupid, thoughtless person you are. I said something to that effect, and she started crying and called me ungrateful. The part that destroys me is that the second part of the presentation, the one that didn't include the Vegas pics, was the best thing ever. Like, she somehow found a previously unearthed home video of my husband and me when we were like 8 years old, saying we were going to marry each other when we grew up. That made me so emotional I felt like I was going to faint. If she'd just stuck to that, it would have been absolutely perfect. I mean, I don't think I'm a prude just because I don't want my grandma and random family members to look at pictures of me looking at helicoptering joysticks, or me and my husband in our underwear or semi-bare, or my sass hanging out. I suppose some people in the audience thought it was fun, but some probably found it scandalous. I don't think my sister did it to embarrass me at all. I think she just wasn't thinking. Update: I'm going to give this little update for closure's sake and then put this whole thing behind me. First off, I was taken aback by the amount of comments that said my sister clearly did this to humiliate me, most likely out of jealousy. Jealousy of what? My husband? She's gay and has been in a loving relationship for ages. My wedding? My mom has even offered to pay for her wedding 1,000,000 times, and my sister has always declined. She doesn't want one. My trip to Las Vegas? my sister had wilder nights every other weekend back in the day. No, I don't think this was done maliciously. She was just an idiot. So, the fallout of the pictures. My mom and aunt blew up at my sister about them, telling her that some family members low-key commented that they were pretty trashy. My husband assures me that on his family's side, everyone thought it was hilarious, and they're all chill about it. Only one of my elderly aunts approached me, and, referring to the photo where my husband's package looked sizable in the Cyclops costume, whispered, "Congratulations," and walked away with a wink and a smile. So that was wild and unexpected, but nice. At least someone on my side of the family can see the bright side. Anyway, my sister got furious at me and my mom and called us unbelievably ungrateful. She says this is the last time she does anything for either of us, and right now, she isn't talking to any one of us. I don't feel like talking to her either. Things are tense with my mom too, because she's kind of blaming me, saying things like, "What were you thinking? Why would you take those kinds of pictures?" And I'm not here for that nonsense, so I'm kind of muting her too for the moment. Out of curiosity, I called my sister's partner, let's call her Rose, who helped her edit the presentation, and asked, what was my sister thinking, including those pics? She said they cleared it with my husband in advance. I told him, and he was like, "What? No way." He says my sister asked him if they could add some of the Vegas pics to the presentation, but he assumed they were the non-weird, non-inappropriate ones, like the ones of us at the strip, at the gondola thing, etc. Why would he even assume she meant the inappropriate pictures? She's going to try to claim some misunderstanding or something, but I don't buy it. Anyway, I know I'm going to forgive my sister eventually, and my mom will too. The portion with the other pics and videos, and especially the video of 8-year-old us, seriously moved me so deeply that it's winning the battle against the full-body cringe I'm still experiencing from the pics. I'm going on my honeymoon this weekend and hoping everything will be back to normal by the time I come back. Honestly, the most mortifying part for me was wondering how his family, specifically his parents, were going to take it. But apparently, even his grandparents thought it was a hoot, so that kind of gives me a bit of peace. As for my own family, me? It's honestly whatever. They can think I'm low class and trashy all they want. I couldn't care less. Story 3. I've never had a healthy relationship. My first and longest relationship was a codependent mess, which had insane highs and crashing lows. I deeply loved him, obsessed over him, even though in hindsight, he treated me terribly. Of course, it ended disastrously, taking me years to get over. I've tried dating other guys since then, but either they weren't interested and just used me for sex, or I realized I was just using them for validation, and nothing ever lasted. I eventually gave up on dating and, up until recently, I'd been happily single for about a year. A few weeks ago, I met someone at a uni class, and we really hit it off. We were just friends initially, but eventually started dating. We're getting pretty intimate, and I genuinely enjoy being around him, but I'm not really sure if I like him that much or if I'm forcing it. Because of my terrible dating history, I've realized that I actually have no idea what it feels like to be in a healthy relationship. The thing is, he's smart and funny and super nice and actually likes me. He genuinely listens to me, he cares about my interests, and remembers things I've told him. He doesn't play arbitrary relationship games, all of which I'm not used to in the slightest. However, I don't feel like I like him as much as I should. I certainly do like him, and I love hanging out with him. The romantic, intimate stuff is pretty good, but compared to past relationships, as disastrous as they were, this one feels almost boring in comparison. I don't crave to be with him. I don't get wild fireworks when he kisses me. I don't feel my heart flutter when I get a text from him. I do feel a strong sense of affection that's almost a weird mix of close friendship and this guy is a dork, and I really like kissing him. For the first time ever, I almost prefer just hanging out in his kitchen and making dinner together to being intimate, which is totally opposite to past relationships that were mostly built around sex. So I've been wondering how much of that lack of intensity is due to him not being right for me, or if it's because he is right for me. Maybe I don't get fireworks when we kiss because he freely kisses me all the time without making me work for it. Maybe my heart doesn't flutter when he texts because I know he'll always text back without making me wait for hours on end. Maybe I don't constantly think about him and crave his presence because I know he'll be there when I need him. Maybe the intensity isn't there because I don't have to fight for his attention, or walk on eggshells, or agonize about him not being there for me. I know I feel a sense of warmth and contentment when I think about him. When we're together, there's not really anywhere else I'd rather be. Maybe that's enough. I know it's early days, but he's already expressed a strong interest in me, and I feel like my feelings aren't quite matched to his. Should I be feeling more intensely about him, or is this just what being in a healthy relationship feels like? TLDR. Always had toxic, very intense relationships with bad boys. Started dating a friend who's kind and genuinely likes me. However, I don't feel intensely about him compared to past relationships, although I do like him a lot and it makes me happy to be around him. Is this because he's not right for me, or is this just what a healthy relationship feels like? Update. A few months ago, I wrote about dating an actually stable guy after only having toxic relationships. The post got more traction than I expected, so I figured it might be nice to do an update. Thank you so much to everyone who replied to my post. All the replies really helped. As it turns out, the guy I was seeing found the Reddit post, clicked that it was me, and talked to me about it. Turns out, he actually felt the same way in terms of low intensity, but he liked that. I decided to keep dating him for as long as we kept having fun together. Well, I'm happy to say that last week, we celebrated being together for 6 months and that we are quite madly in love with each other. After we talked, I took the advice of some of the commenters and tried to just enjoy my time with him instead of worrying about the depth of my feelings. I soon realized that he's a kind, thoughtful, intelligent person, and we totally get each other. He makes me laugh with the most inane stuff, and he thinks my dumb jokes are funny too. We can talk for hours and hours about anything at all, and I rarely feel like I have to justify or explain my point of view. He just understands me. One of the first times I knew I was really falling in love, we were chatting in bed, and suddenly it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I realized we'd been chatting for 3 hours without a single awkward pause. I've rarely had that with anyone else, and never with a previous boyfriend. I think most of the commenters were right. My other longest relationships were all built around toxic intensity and wild passion. While this relationship definitely isn't lacking in the bedroom, I'd say it's much more built on a sort of close friendship and respect for each other. It's certainly not as filled with longing and deep passion as other relationships I've had, but honestly, I prefer being with him. I feel like I have not just someone to go out with or cuddle up to, but a genuine life partner, somebody who supports me, who I can talk to about anything, and someone who makes me want to be a better person. It just took me a while to realize how much better that calmer, more peaceful love is, instead of the roller coaster, intensely toxic relationships. I almost made the mistake of thinking that it was boring and throwing it away. I really just needed time to get used to dating someone who doesn't play games and displays his affection openly and frequently. We did have some slight issues with communication to start with, mainly me being afraid to bring issues up or suggest things because of other boyfriends overreacting terribly in the past. But after we talked a lot, he's been very supportive and proven himself to be a mature enough adult that he can handle occasional criticism without getting super defensive. It's been really refreshing to be in such a drama-free relationship where we can argue or talk about issues in a really healthy way. Thank you to everyone who replied. You all helped a lot, and I'm really glad I took your advice and didn't just break up with him. I love him a lot, and I can see us being together a long time. TLDR. Turns out I just needed to adjust to a healthy relationship. Boyfriend is great, and we love each other a lot. Everything is awesome,